I, 28 female, married my husband, 34, a week ago. We got engaged about a year ago, and when I got engaged, my mother gave me a pair of earrings that she said every woman for generations in our family has worn to their wedding. They're 4.0 carat dangling earrings, and they're worth a lot. I felt very honored to be given them, and it made me feel closer to my grandmother, who had died 2 months prior. About 3 months after that, I went wedding dress shopping with my mother, my sister, and my fiance's mother. I brought all the jewelry I would wear at my wedding to see how they matched the dress. When I put the jewelry on, my mother-in-law kept going on about how gorgeous the earrings were. My mother explained the story and how they're a family heirloom passed down through generations. Finally, I found the dress of my dreams and bought it. On my wedding day, I had everything ready in my room. My wedding dress, my flowers, my shoes, my makeup, and my jewelry. I was in there with my soon-to-be mother-in-law. I then needed to go to the toilet, and when I returned, my mother-in-law was gone. I wasn't sure what had happened, but I thought she maybe got called away to do something. I then noticed my earrings were gone. I knew straight away that she had taken them. I found her and confronted her, and she said she didn't take them. I asked if I could look through her bag, and she said no and gripped it. I said that if she didn't let me look, I would call the police, which I then did as she still wouldn't let me look. The police arrived and searched her, and the earrings were found in her bag. They were returned to me, and they asked if I wanted to press charges. I wanted to talk to my fiancé first, and he said he would support me if I wanted to. I didn't want to decide then, so I just ignored it and had a great night. That was a week ago, and ever since then I've been getting loads of threatening messages and calls from my husband's side for the family. My mother-in-law has been sending me extremely hateful texts, and I think I want to press charges, but I'm still not sure if it's a good idea. Not the idiot. Mother-in-law is a thief that tried to make off with your heirloom earrings and then doubled down by getting her family to harass you. Screw that. The fact she's continuing to give you grief, despite the fact that she was caught red-handed, would have me pressing charges. She could have wound her neck in and had the decency to be silently ashamed of herself. Now she can pay the price. Press charges and be done with her. However, if you do press charges, you will ruin the relationship between his family and yours, affecting your marriage. If you press charges, you should call a divorce attorney because your husband will resent you the rest of your marriage unless he 100% is in your corner on getting charges on his mom's legal record. You could also block all of them and go completely no contact. Sorry to hear you married into that family. No, OP would not be ruining the relationship between the two families. Mother-in-law did that when she stole the earrings. Something to consider. If you don't press charges, she and they will pretend it never happens after a short time. Once she thinks she's gotten away with it, and the people harassing you, they'll start saying that you made up the story of her getting caught stealing. The harassment and threatening messages need to be reported as well. Beware of any time limits for pressing charges. I've dealt with people like this. Good luck. This. Without the charges, she'll try to gaslight you later. She is an adult, old enough to have a grown child, so she knows stealing is wrong. She deserves the punishment and charges. Seriously, who steals from a bride on their wedding day? And what was her plan? Just hold them for a few months, then randomly wear them and think you wouldn't recognize them? She's a few cards short of a deck, but that doesn't excuse her crime. Our child is a toddler, and we have alternating weeks. My mother and sisters help me with childcare when I'm working, and I know I'm very lucky for this. However, my ex-girlfriend has recently started complaining that she's having trouble with childcare. The cost has become unreasonable, and our daughter's at an age now where she screams and cries when left with someone she doesn't know, and she can scream. My girl has a bright future as a tuba player because those lungs are powerful. I told my ex my mom could watch our daughter for her, but she said she didn't want my family watching her daughter on her time. So I figured that was the end of the conversation, but she brought it up again at the next swap. So I asked her why was she telling me this, and she got offended. She said I should care about her struggles since it involves our daughter. I said it's impossible to sympathize with problems with easy solutions. If she wants to waste her money on babysitters our daughter hates, That's her choice. If it causes problems for her, those are her problems. If she doesn't want my help, which she doesn't, then there's no reason for us to discuss her problems, as nothing could come of it. She said I was being an idiot, and she just wanted a sympathetic ear, and sometimes needed to talk out her problems. I said that that's what a therapist is for, or her friends or something. I'm not going to pretend to be interested in her problems. I don't like problems. I like solutions. She said that that's why our relationship ended, and I agreed that it was, and asked why she expected me to do something for her now that we're broken up. Listen to problems without offering solutions? I wouldn't even do that when we're together. She knows I'm only interested in solutions, not problems. So why was she expecting something else? My sister said it's important to communicate well with my child's mother, and I should pretend to care even though I don't keep the lines of communication open. She said it's only once a week, and saying, "I'm sorry, that sucks," costs me nothing, and takes less than saying, "Your problems aren't real problems and I don't care," and starting a fight. She might have a point. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I'm here with your sister. Whether you like it or not, you will have to communicate and coordinate with your ex for many years ahead. Thus, it would be easier for everybody and much better for your daughter if you two maintained a somewhat friendly relationship. I'm saying this as a child of divorced parents, and I was lucky they were most of the time friendly to each other and cooperative. Otherwise, I would mentally suffer a lot. As a stepmom, yes, it is best for him to have a civil relationship. However, this does not mean he needs to provide emotional support for her. The child is what they need to communicate about and keep in the center of it all. He offered a solution. She refused it and then got mad at him because she continues to struggle. It's not his problem anymore, as long as his daughter's cared for. Not the idiot, OP. I can't believe your ex is turning down free childcare. She needs to move on and stop depending on you for emotional support. Divorce means the end of the relationship between you and her is anything more than your parents. Everyone's the idiot here. You don't owe her a sympathetic ear, of course. You don't owe her anything. But you know for a fact you're antagonizing her. So why do you expect any different response? This is why you two broke up. It's not new. She's not letting your mom watch her for free, because that means you suddenly have a claim in court, if you choose to do that she's a lousy parent who never cares for her child, and you and your mother have to step in. I can't believe you haven't thought of that, because if everything were switched around, and her mom offered to babysit on your time, you'd have the same vulnerabilities. And based on your animosity towards her, she clearly can't trust you to do right by her. I'm male 23, am in a long-distance relationship with my girlfriend, 22. I went to see her last weekend and to take her out for our 1-year anniversary. I wanted to take her somewhere nice, so we went to a place my coworker recommended. I looked it up and it had great reviews for food and service. So we went to see the Van Gogh experience and then out for dinner. I had made a reservation and the restaurant was not busy, so I was surprised when we were asked to wait. We went into the lounge and had a drink and waited. About 20 minutes later, the hostess came for us and we were seated. It took a long time for the waiter to come for our order. I was trying to have a good time, but I was hungry. We ordered straight off the menu, no substitutions or deletions, and then we waited. We had another drink. I asked the waiter about the food. "It'll be right out." I saw people that were seated after us get their meals. 1 hour after we sat, I had had enough. I asked my girlfriend if she was comfortable if we left, and she said she was waiting for me to suggest it. So I left the money for the drinks on the table and we walked out. The waiter saw us leaving and asked us what the problem was. I said we had waited long enough and had other plans, so we left. We went to a chain steak restaurant and had a great meal. My girlfriend thanked me for getting us out of the other place without a scene. The server asked about our evening and we told them. They brought us a complimentary dessert, even though they and their restaurant did everything right. I tipped very well, 20% plus the cost of the dessert. When I got back to work, I told the guy who recommended the first place about the crap service, and he said I was an idiot for walking out without paying for my food. I never got any food. I don't think I'm wrong. Even our appetizers never made it out of the kitchen. Not the idiot. Some idiot there really messed up. I would say as an ex-waitress that it would have been better that you tell the staff you're leaving because you can't wait anymore, but you're not the idiot for leaving without paying for the meals you never got. There are at least 3 points where someone should have realized that they screwed up and they didn't. This is wholly on the restaurant. And considering that it seems like your food never even began to be prepared, you didn't cost them anything by leaving either. Having done exactly the same thing as the OP, I tried, man. I tried to tell them that I was leaving. They ignored me. It wouldn't have made any difference. I also wonder if OP is some visible minority. One of the 2 times this happened to me, I was with a friend who's a wheelchair user. She said it happens to her a lot, if she's seated at all. Lots of places just refuse to seat her. Yeah, I've read a few stories like this. Usually it happens because the customers are people of color or have a slightly different skin tone. So I can't help but wonder if OP and his girlfriend were the wrong color. Why would you pay for food that didn't come after an hour? Your coworker is delusional and a doormat, and he'd still be sitting there waiting for food that would never come. I would Google and Facebook review this restaurant and describe everything about your experience. My girlfriend, 29, and I, 30 male, have been together for 4 years. We met through a mutual friend, so we have a lot of friends in common, but we both also have our own friend circles that we had before we met. My girlfriend is big on empathy, but also loves gossip and relationship drama. It's like a drug to her. So when she gets together with her gossipy friends with new tea to spill, it's like chum in the water to sharks. They aren't necessarily mean or judgmental, but I find it odd that they spend so much time talking about other people's lives. A couple of years ago, a longtime friend of mine was going through a rough patch with his long-term girlfriend. I will admit that their relationship was probably toxic, and they weren't good for each other, but outside of telling my friend that I was there for him if he needed anything, I stayed out of it. Not my girlfriend, though. As soon as she saw signs of problems in their relationship, she started to seek out my friend's girlfriend to talk with her. She told me it was to ensure that my friend wasn't hurting his girlfriend in any way. Well, she must have dished gossip to some other friends, because pretty soon, my friend called me out that people were talking about him badly. So I confronted my girlfriend about it, and she said she was concerned about my friend's girlfriend and just wanted to make sure everything was okay. So she asked some other people if they were concerned too. Well, it turns out there was a reason for concern, but not because of my friend. His girlfriend was hurting him, and he was too ashamed to talk about it. By the time that came out, his name had been dragged through the mud, and he cut many of our friends and me out of his life. Right now, I have another friend who's engaged, and they postponed their wedding because they're having issues and are in counseling. My girlfriend told me she wanted to talk to my friend's fiance, and I told her to mind her own business and stay out of it. I told her she had already cost me one friendship with her meddling, and I didn't want her to do that again. She said that was different, but I don't think it is. I told her that if she wanted to gossip about her friends, she could do that all day, but when it comes to my friend, she needs to keep her nose out of their business because she only does more harm than good. I caught her on the phone talking to her friend about how I'm forbidding her from making sure my friend's fiance is okay and that she's just concerned about her. I didn't even let her hang up the phone. I just yelled at her that meddling in other people's lives was messed up and that she needed to find a hobby that didn't involve ruining other people's lives and friendships. She got mad at me and called me a controlling idiot. She said that men don't understand how women need to look out for each other, and she's just trying to be a good friend. So I brought up my friend who cut me off and asked if she was a good friend in that situation, and she called me an idiot again. Not the idiot. She's one of those people who are so obsessed with drama to gossip about that she creates her own. She ended up ruining a victim's life so she could have her little gossip session. She spreads rumors without proof and goes into situations with the story already in her mind. This is extremely toxic and benefits no one. She doesn't care about your friend group outside of gossip material. There are some serious huge red flags here about this woman. Your girlfriend's got a big old case of the savior syndrome. Holy Batman, she unknowingly helped an abuser, and after it came out, doubled down? She's so harmful, and the fact that she could only call you an idiot when you brought up your friend who was struggling. Did she even apologize? And your poor friend. I'm not one to say break up, but if you're asking and she's refusing and actively causing harm, it might be time to let her go. Who the heck thinks that their support is so bloody important to anyone who's not even their own friend? She doesn't even have her phone number or social media. She's not friends. OP, think about this in the future as well. Any issues your friends have is one thing, but imagine having kids with someone who cannot understand privacy and personal space. My teen daughter did something that warranted a 4-day punishment. Her birthday is tomorrow, and this is her second day of punishment. I canceled her birthday as part of the punishment, and the other part is not allowing her to go out for 4 days. She still has electronics available. Earlier today, my ex contacted me and asked about the birthday cancellation. I told him what happened, and he said he'd throw her the party since I canceled. I said he couldn't throw her the party when she's grounded and isn't allowed to leave the house for days. He called me ridiculous, but I told him he was encouraging bad behavior and acting like the cool parent instead of working with me to fix these behavioral issues. He said that since he's also the parent, I cannot stop him from throwing her a party, and he'll do it tomorrow. So we got into a big argument, and my husband agreed that my ex was an enabler, but my daughter's grandparents got involved as well and told me I couldn't stop her dad from celebrating her birthday, and that I needed to let it go, and suggested I put off the rest of the punishment until after the birthday. But I refused. He's undermining my parenting and deliberately going against my input. So, am I the idiot? Edit. She broke her stepfather's antique vase. She swore it was an accident, but my husband said it was deliberate because she called it ugly once. I hesitated about canceling the birthday until she started talking back to her stepdad. I let her have the electronics so she can stay in touch with the family since her dad and his family cried abuse when I took her electronics and limited contact. Holy crap. Her birthday party was canceled as part of a punishment over a broken vase that nobody can confirm 100% whether it was an accident or not? That's insane. This poor girl. The only way this punishment would be close to acceptable is if the vase was broken because the teen threw it at her stepfather. OP, you are the idiot. My heart breaks for your daughter. Why would the daughter break an old vase on purpose? Like, does she have a habit of doing bizarre things like that? If so, I think OP would have mentioned it. So all of this suggests that it was done purely by accident, and the daughter was punished for defending herself. OP, you need to reconsider why you automatically believe your husband and not your daughter, with zero evidence either way. Also, probably why your new husband is so quick to blame your daughter. A vase got broken, and you think her calling it ugly proves she did it? I think 50% of my family heirlooms are ugly as sin, and I've never broken a single one. You're out of control. I knew a girl whose mom took away holidays as a punishment. Said girl is no longer in contact with her parents, which is part of the reason. Because seriously, who the heck does that? I see your daughter going no contact in your future.